Hello, my name is Simmer Sky and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be doing a speed build and this is going to be called Granny's Tiny Place. I did not intend on building a tiny home, but when I was done it was under 100 tiles. So I decided that we would make it a tiny home. So you will get the gains of having a tiny home. It is only it's a tier 3, so you're not going to get like all of the tiny home gains, but you're going to have like your Sims will always be fine. And I think maybe the bills are cheaper. I can't remember, but you're still going to get at least one of those tiny home advantages. The home ends up being 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, and like I mentioned, this is Granny's place, so it is going to be a little bit more old-fashioned, I guess you could say. It feels a little older. It feels like an older Sim may live here, but she has an extra bedroom for her grandkids to come stay with her. So we do have 2 bedrooms in this house. Again, it is a tiny home though, and I do make that change later. You could always make it a not tiny home if you wanted to and expand, but I made it a tiny home because why not? So we are going to go with kind of a blue and white color scheme, especially on the exterior of this house, but the interior is a little bit more warm, a little more comforting. There is still blue and white on the interior, but there's a little bit more brown. We bring in some pinks, just a little bit more comforting and warm, I guess, really. That's basically just the interior. I really wanted to have something to highlight this door, not just like empty, just like there on the wall. And this kind of turned out to be the best opportunity to put that little I think that's cottage living or maybe city living. Sorry, my cat is yelling at me. I really like all these stores and stuff from Cottage Living, and I like that even though they're different and like one of them looks more cottagey and maybe the other one's a little bit fancier, they still work well together. Alright, and as we finish up kind of the basics of the exterior shell, our next move is going to be to the landscaping. We're going to make a couple of changes on the exterior as we go, but for the most part the next bit's going to be the landscaping. I do a lot of searching through Debug to do the landscaping for this house. As I have mentioned in previous videos, I plan on using Debug a lot more now that I feel more confident in searching through Debug generally, and also in like what's there and using it and making it look good in my landscaping, in my builds. So we are going to do a lot of that in this build. I realized that those trims are different on the roof line. Don't worry, we'll fix that. I guess they're not trims, the paint on the roof, but we'll fix it. So here we're just going to throw in some landscaping. These are basically just sized up versions of those of the low-lying flowers. I like these just because they take up more space. And yeah, I'm just going to flip through Debug here. I hope you don't mind me just clicking on random things, seeing what they are as I go. We're going to get a lot of flowers in here. I feel like with a space that's like specifically for like an elder sim, you know, whenever you think of grannies, to me I'm thinking of like someone who likes to bake and like totally pamper on their grandkids. They make sure that the kids are well fed while they're here and at their house. You know, maybe they send the kids home a couple pounds heavier, you know, even because they're just shoving homemade food into the kids' throats and like making sure that they're well taken care of. So, but also, when I think of grandmothers specifically, I think of their houses being very quaint and cozy and just landscaped, very well landscaped. My dad's mom, she had a courtyard in her front yard that was just covered in plants, ivy, beautiful trees, beautiful flowers, benches, stuff to enjoy. You know, look at all the bees, look at all the beautiful flowers, all that kind of stuff. And then my grandma on my mom's side, she had the same thing, but even bigger. Even bigger. They lived in Montana, so she had like this huge garden space. They made like they had like herbs and stuff like that, and also just all of the flowers, so many roses. And so now, of course, whenever I think of grandmas, I think of my grandmas who were just obsessed with flowers and greenery and stuff like that in and around their houses. So I guess you could say I took some heavy influences from them and their previous homes and things like that. So we're just going to pick out a couple of other items, and then we're probably going to move to the interior here relatively soon, I think, maybe. Just some terrain paint around here. I've been really liking the kind of like grassier one underneath my plants, just because it kind of looks like it's more dynamic. kind of looks more like something that would be under your dirt. I don't know. That's just me. And then kind of like just the regular browns under walkways and under the house itself. Just, I don't know. It's what I'm doing right now. It's the look I'm going for at this moment in time. I feel like I change my style of how I do terrain paint pretty frequently. Like every couple of months I'm changing up how I'm doing it just cuz like I can, you know. I did not know how I wanted to split up this house, and when I built this wall, it felt closed in and really small. And I mean, I figured that's probably relatively realistic for a small suburban house like this, but I felt like it made more sense to have it open. So I decided that we would keep it kind of open, and this fireplace got moved around so many times. It's still going to get moved after this, and I tried to keep the external fireplace close to where the fireplace is, just so it's like a little bit more realistic, but it doesn't work out perfectly. It does not work out perfectly, so I apologize, and I hope you like how it ends up turning out. In just a moment here, I'm going to swap this room though. I really wanted to have that like bay window chair in that bay window, but the floor plan really wasn't working for me, so I ended up flopping it, and I think it makes more sense that way for the size of the space. So it's alright. One day I will get in my little bay window there. One day I will make it work. Mark my words. It will happen. So here we're just going to swap it over, and we're just going to put a half wall behind the cabinets there, and that really divides off the space pretty well. And then later on in the speed build, I will put columns on both ends of the half wall, so it really divides the space off, and I like how it turns out. So here we're just going to do the little living space in the front here. I, of course, wanted to use the cottage living since it's kind of a cottagey vibe. It doesn't scream grandma to me necessarily, but it does feel like a comfortable cottagey kind of couch. So we decided to go with that. I am picking out the cabinetry, and I just didn't like the yellow. I was thinking maybe it would look good, and I could do kind of yellow tonage in here, but then I remembered that the outside's blue and my door's blue, so we went with the blue instead. We're gonna keep kind of with that theme. Our wallpaper is gonna have some blue touches. Of course, I'm gonna use the cottage living ones. Gotta pull the whole look together, and I really like this blue wood. I didn't think I would, and as I left it and started doing more of the room, it really grew on me. It really grew on me. So in here we are going to get some nice darker wood in here. It's also the cottage living wood, the flooring. We're going to get some stonework behind the kitchen appliances. I believe, I do also end up getting the stonework from the cottage living pack. I end up doing like the ones, the stone that are more separated. It doesn't necessarily scream backsplash to me, but I like it anyway. It's different. I haven't used that at all yet, so I felt like, why not? Let's do it. And like, that doesn't look bad. That doesn't look bad. I'm not mad at that. It's different. Don't get me wrong. It's different, but why not make it different? Why not be a little different? So, and I like how it looks on the rest of that wall. So we're gonna do that. We're going to get the cats and dogs rug. We're not going to get it here, but we're going to put it in the living space. And I pick out a different swatch, like the orangey kind of swatch, and that really drives the rest of the colors in here. And I feel like it ties in the colors from that wallpaper and also all the browns and the pink that we end up putting in the rest of the space. So I like it. I will say, this dang fireplace was really screwing with me. I was struggling because it's just short of the walls. Of course, it's 3 tiles and that space is 4, so I couldn't off center it because that would look ridiculous. So it's centered on that wall, and I didn't know what to do with those side pieces because what do you put there? I didn't know if I stuck something there if it would catch on fire because fireplaces are weird like that. So I didn't stick anything there, and I kind of wish that we had some decoratory piece that could fit in like a small space like that, but I don't really know what that would be. So I ended up leaving it blank. It's alright. Things happen. It may not be perfect, but I still like it. I would still hang out on that couch. I would still be warmed by the fire. So, it's all good. It's all good. Of course, I'm going to get in this little decoratory wagon thing. I thought that was super cute, and especially in the white, like it just, mwah, so cute, so precious. I also really like how a lot of the blues throughout the packs match this blue in the cottage living stuff, like all the wallpapers and the door there. The rug that's the doormat right there is the Parenthood pack, I believe, and it still kind of matches the tone of the wood. It's not spot on, but if you don't look close enough, you wouldn't notice. Okay, so for the most part, this space is pretty much done. We're going to throw a couple rugs in and a couple of like decoratory pieces, but for the most part, this space is done. So I'm going to take this quick moment to update you on my current personal life. I just passed the California bar. I just got the news a couple days ago that I passed. I am so excited. I was freaking out, and rightfully so, because the bar pass rate is actually super low this year, and I am so proud. I'm so happy to be moving forward with my life and to, start with my career, and I am so freaking excited, but I really am kind of curious to see how this affects my YouTube videos and stuff like that. If I'm going to be able to continue to make stuff, if I'm going to be able to consistently make videos. So I'm really hoping that I can make time and really make this a priority, but I guess we'll see as my career starts. So yeah, but that's fun. I am so excited to pass the bar. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be sworn in a couple weeks, and yeah, I'll be an esquire. But yeah, that's my news. How are you guys doing? How are we feeling? How is November treating us? If you are in the United States, Thanksgiving is around the corner. Do you celebrate Thanksgiving? Do you eat turkey on Thanksgiving? I'm not like a huge fan of turkey. I don't hate it, but like my preferred turkey is deep fried turkey because it just, to me, it's better. I mean, anything fried is better. Can you really doubt that? No. Anyway, so my favorite is deep fried, but we rarely do deep fried turkey if we do turkey. And we really haven't done turkey in a long time. But my grandparents are coming and they want to do turkey. And I really just want I want to do like homemade pizza or something different, something that really makes me feel grateful. And something like pizza makes me feel grateful for, all sorts of things. For the Italians, for tomatoes, for cheese. That's the kind of grateful I want to be. Turkey doesn't make me feel grateful. Turkey just makes me sad. So let's change the Thanksgiving meal to something better. Please. Please. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So here, now that I've rambled through, we are almost done with the bathroom. I'm a little sad that bathroom doesn't have a window, but sometimes it just happens. We're going to do a little bit here on the exterior before we once again move to the interior. I wanted to have a fenced-in backyard. I love this fence from Cottage Living. I feel like it kind of gives off picket fence vibes without being a picket fence. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm not going to elaborate because I feel like if I elaborate, I'm just going to sound stupid. So no. We're going to add a couple of the Cottage Living decorations to the interior here. I love this little basket of blankets and pillows, and it adds a little extra pop of the pink and an extra bit of a cozy vibe. So I really like that. Moving back to the exterior, I kind of wanted just to pick out a bunch of Cottage Living items and get them out here, but I end up scrapping that idea for the most part because it was just a lot and I didn't like the layout. So we do pretty much just end up with a couple of the planter beds and the chicken coop, but I will do that later. We are instead going to moving inside. I am going to change this layout a little bit because I want this room to be a little bit bigger. This is what I imagine would be Granny's room. It's very pink and also kind of cozy, and I really like how it looks. We are going to end up just having a one tile wide hallway, which I hate doing because it just feels so closed off and claustrophobic, but it's only like 2 tiles wide, so sometimes you just have to do it, and it is what it is. So we're just going to get a couple of little pieces in here. We're going to go with this green rug from the Snowy Escape, and we're going to size it up and then put another one next to it to make it bigger and make it look like it's actually a bigger rug. Next, we're just going to get a couple of drapes in here. Nothing crazy. I just kind of wanted to keep those pretty simple. I felt like if we did a whole lot more, it would just kind of take away or make the space look smaller than it is. So we're just going to get a pink chair here, and that's the room. This is what I imagine would be the grandkids' room. Maybe they come and stay here. Maybe there's just one grandkid. Maybe there's a couple of grandkids, and they stay in this bedroom when they come and stay over at Granny's house. It's not super personalized, and at this point, it really doesn't look like it fits in a cottage, especially with this rug, honestly. But we end up getting a checkered wallpaper on the walls, and I feel like it really feels cottagey once I do that. Of course, we've got to have some decoration, so we're going to get a couple of these posters in different swatches. Those are also from the Cottage Living pack. There's a lot of stuff in this pack. I didn't quite realize how much came in it, but there's a lot. And I feel like the Cottage Living and the Cats and Dogs packs really mix well together. They look really good together, and it feels like they created Cottage Living kind of with Cats and Dogs in mind. Maybe not, maybe they didn't, but I feel like a lot of like the swatches, especially the wood swatches, a lot of those actually match, which you can't say that about other packs and other wood swatches in the game. I feel like a lot of the colors kind of go well together. Honestly, I feel like you could probably mix and match some of the windows together. So I feel like just all around those two packs go really well together. This little corner here really threw me off because I really wanted to get a little like small dresser in there, but it wasn't fitting well. So we end up just going with this mirror, and luckily you can use a mirror in the same way you can use a dresser for gameplay wise, and a little bit more because you can like work on your charisma skill. Now we're going to move back to the exterior. Again, a lot of this exterior is just going to be landscaping. For the most part, the only gameplay items in the backyard are going to be those plots for gardening and the chickens. So a lot of the front is debug. A lot of the front landscaping is debug, but most of the back is not debug. And I was a little worried after doing a lot of the back that maybe it would be expensive because landscaping is super expensive in the game. However, this house ends up being only $32,000, which is a little expensive because, you know, it's a tiny home. But in theory, you know, it's a granny. She's a granny. In theory, she's established. She's raking in the retirement checks. She's doing just fine. So hopefully you can move a Civ in here and it's not too expensive for you. For the most part, though, we are done at this point. I would say we're gonna add in a lot more landscaping. I'm gonna line the fence line here with this bush, but for the most part, we are done. The last bit will just kind of be landscaping and adding more of these little flowers because they're so cute and they scream grandma to me. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I put out new videos on Mondays and Thursdays. Obviously today is Sunday. I decided to put something else out. It's been a rough week, you know, anticipating bar results, and I spent a lot of time building. So here's an extra build. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you like it. Please come back and see what I have next week for you. And I'm sending you all the good vibes, all the positive energy, and happy simming.